that I can see.
See? A sailor went to sea to see what he could see. And all that he could see was the bottom of the deep blue sea. Oh my god, that looks really weird.
Thanks.
Are you recording already?
Yeah. You want to maybe get off your phone?
Nah, not really. Did you bring my copy?
It's beside you, you twat. I leant down into your fart and...
Oh yeah. I don't do that.
Okay.
Right, bring us in,
So,
J-Dog.
bringing us
G-Dog.
in. So
J-Dog.
we're back for some more visual audio commentary.
Yeah.
And our last one obviously was Iron Angels, and now we're going to follow that with Iron Angels 2, also known as Angels 2, also known as Fighting Madam 2,
Also known
as fucking God knows what else, 2.
Angel Force? No,
No, that's a totally different. No, that's
Who's
a
the
different.
Karyoshima?
So yeah, there's a lot of different titles and different people, even renaming the actors, for God's sake.
I know, Cynthia Luster? Sounds like a porn star.
It really does, and it's scary. So let's get started.
Let's.
Angels 2. This is probably my favorite of the trilogy.
Okay, I'm excited.
So hopefully this DVD quality holds up
I'm sure I'll be fine.
until 88 gives us a trilogy of Blu-rays.
Yeah, hello.
Okay, let's start. Here we go.
I am Angels 2.
So this other version I have of this is on VHS, released by MIA in Hong Kong Classics way back when, and it's a great copy on VHS.
Right.
Although it runs at 90 minutes, this one runs at 130 or an hour and 33. Sorry, an hour and 34 almost.
Yeah.
So
But do you know sometimes that's frame rate that
yeah,
they
exactly.
change over? So.
But maybe there's, because this is a sort of fan-made bootleg DVD version, maybe there's an uncut. Who knows?
Fight or something in this.
Who knows?
She's been forced to put on her mask. It's very relevant.
Isn't it today?
Oh, it's an eye mask. Oh, sorry. It's not even
That's
a
my
white
husband
mask.
going to bed.
Oh my god, does he wear an eye mask?
He does, because he's a big poof. So this is my favourite of the trilogy.
For what reasons?
There's more fight action.
Okay.
Although when I think back to Iron Angels and after we watched it, there was quite a bit of fight action
Yeah,
in
there
it.
was, yeah.
But more, I think, longer, more solid fight action.
Right.
And I think now that the team have got comfortable, they know what the girls can do.
Yeah.
As such, I mean, Moon obviously blew us away, and I love this location.
Yeah,
This
it's a great location.
bloody gorgeous.
Alex Fong and Moon
Yeah,
Lee
so Alex Fong, Moon
yeah.
Lee's back, Elaine Lui, Nathan Chan Ting Wai, who I'll introduce later. Karina, Karina's an interesting. Karina, I believe, is I don't want to get this right, a transvestite. Or I think actor.
Not
so
transsexual.
Transsexual, perhaps transsexual.
So
who-
she was male but now female.
I think so. There's not much on her,
Okay.
but she's in this quite a bit, and she joins the Angel team,
Right, okay.
and brilliantly so.
Very progressive for the 80s.
Yeah. I think she's Thai.
Right, okay.
So
Is that
obviously it
stereotyping
was
or...
no. I genuinely do think. Again, I couldn't ever find a lot on her. But you've got the same kind of lighting as we did with the first one.
Lighting that I love.
yeah.
Like the blue hues and...
And again, you imagine this on Blu-ray from
I know.
from anyone. I mean, 88, yes please, but
Yeah.
just to have this cleaned up and crisp, would be amazing.
Yeah, it would.
But yeah, we have a similar setup here like we did in the first, whenever Wang Jiangli appeared with Yukari Oshima in their setting, and I do love it.
What was your first introduction to Moon Lee?
My first introduction to Moon Lee was her brief cameo in Winners and Sinners when she plays Yoon Byo's girlfriend.
Right.
Very brief, so
Yeah.
not really an introduction. As a fighter
Mm-hmm.
and as an action star, I honestly would say Iron Angels, the Iron Angels video that I bought mid-90s.
So the very first
The
one.
very first one.
was your kind of introduction to who she is as
Yeah.
an action star.
And she blew me away, obviously. Then after that, I can't even remember. Zoo Warriors then.
Of course.
And then Mr. Vampire. Look, here we go. Straight into the
yeah.
action. So Stanley Tong's taken a bigger role in this. Stanley Tong, we know who is the director of the upcoming Vanguard.
Yeah.
That we're excited to see. And was a heel in the eye there.
Nasty kick. So she's getting to move a bit more in this?
Yeah. Now, again...
Sorry,
you're okay.
Elaine.
Elaine Lui as well, yes. Yeah. Because, again, she proved herself there in the first one. Oh,
yeah, that was some kick.
Kick in the fanny. So, yes, Stanley Tong is taking a bit more to do with this, especially in terms of the action and the direction.
But it's still Teresa Wu behind this.
Teresa Wu's behind. Yeah, she's behind the trilogy as such.
Was she the conceptualist of the whole kind of franchise?
I believe so.
And that's why they've given her so much
the
credit.
Executive producer and whatnot. So, yeah, but there's a grittiness to this one. Part one for me was a very polished thriller.
Yeah.
This becomes a bit more of a gritty action movie.
Yeah, okay.
And then...
No way.
Suck that grenade, mister.
Are they really going to do this? It's nice to see Elaine Lui. She almost, in this one, comes across a bit more serious. They all do.
Yeah.
So far, even just within the first few moments,
well,
they are appearing much more...
Elaine gets a bit more of a story throughout this, which is nice. And then she doesn't return for 3, which was unfortunate.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it's just Moon and Alex. But yeah. So
any particular reason why? Do you know why she didn't return,
why.
or just?
I'm not too sure, and I can't think when the dates were, because obviously she had done Red Wolf as well with Yuen Wu-ping.
Yeah,
but I'm not too sure if that was. Oh, Jesus.
Whoa, that's violent.
It is brutal, like, isn't it?
Christ, he's going to explode, isn't he?
He's going to lose his head. Oh, not before he loses his water. Oh!
Why is she grabbing that?
To get rid of it.
Oh, sorry.
Would you not do that?
No, because... no, I just fucking let it explode.
Oh. So Elaine's complaining that she'd rather go to Disneyland.
Yeah,
or Vegas. Yeah. But so this is kind of where the story then takes place. It's all set out of Hong Kong. And then part 3 takes it to Thailand. So they kind of globetrot a wee bit with the trilogy, which is cool.
Yeah.
It shakes it up. And we've got that kind of soundtrack coming back again. But yes, Elaine gets a bit more of a story through this, whereas the rest of them hold the action.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not too sure why she didn't come back for part 3. Part 3 did drop, for me, for everyone, I think, drastically in terms of its production, perhaps budget restraints kind of dropped it a wee bit.
Yeah.
It still has so many incredible action scenes. Like you'll see, we'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for me, this is the better of the action. Part 1 is the best made.
Yeah. Okay.
And part 3 is fun.
Right. Okay.
But none of them.
So they go for more in Iron Angels 3 for that kind of like Hollywood action, the kind of like brainlessly fun.
Yes.
Let's just blow some stuff up, kill some people, and just
Pretty
have
much.
a bit of a.
I mean, there's some brutality in it. Like there is a lot of violence, and I say there's an amazing scene with Moon Lee taking on 30 or 40 guys with a pair of nunchucks.
Yes.
Which is
the one she does the roller skate?
Oh, Nocturnal Demon.
Oh yes, I'd like to see it.
Enter the Lady Kickboxer on American VHS. I've got it. But yeah, she's an incredible woman, as we've stated before.
Yeah. She just looks fabulous as well.
I think she does. Yeah. And her comedy. And again, if I show you the likes of The Big Deal or Nocturnal Demon, her comedy timing is wonderful. I love this, where he tells them, before he got them in the car, he says, I have power windows. And she says, so I thought you said you have power windows. And he says, yeah, man power. Reminds me of a taxi I took the first
Jeez,
time
yeah,
I ever went to New York.
Mm-hmm.
And the first taxi I got in, it was maybe 11 o'clock at night, and he drove like this through Manhattan, and I was
Dear God.
shouting myself. I was
Sure you
flying
were.
across the back seat, but he had no glass in the back windows. Like, I don't know why. Either he had wound them down and we couldn't get them up, but there was none there. So every time he stopped, I was quite nervous. And then he stopped at one traffic light, and this guy stuck his head through the window, and he says to me, "Give me $10 and I'll tell you where you're going." I was like, no, I know where I'm going. He's like, "Give me $10 anyway." I says, "No, I'm on a budget. Drive." This Egyptian driver
Christ.
was just like, he sped off, and he was
Yeah.
like, "Why did you speak to him?" And I was like, "Could you stop the car?"
Flip
But it was this
the
kind of
fuck.
experience for me.
Yeah.
It wasn't, it certainly wasn't fun. But they're going here. They're okay. This is who I want to introduce you to coming up. So, one of the new names to this film is Nathan Chan Ting Wai,
Mm-hmm.
or Chan Ting Wai. So this is who they're pulling out of the way for, because he's a bit of a name. Not as Nathan Chan, but as as his character, he's a bit of a name in Kuala Lumpur. He's a big shot,
Okay.
as they say.
So he's the villain of
Yes,
this piece.
he'll be the
where
villain.
Shikari was the villain of the first.
Yeah,
Okay.
but with the look at the size of them guns.
Those gums are outrageous.
Wow. That's reminds me of Mr. Ed, kind of.
Oh, you the horde?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here we can top our tea up.
top my tea up.
Let's top you up for a
Don't
wee.
fucking stall over me now.
Watch your crotch. Watch your crotch. Wee. Okay, now we've got rid of Mr.
Mr.
Taxi.
We've got
But
Mr.
Alex Fong here is excited to catch up with who was in the car.
Ed. Okay.
We'll start. This is where the pace starts to pick up now.
Okay.
It's a bit
But
of
it's
a.
only been on
It's
10
only
minutes
been on
and-
10 minutes, but we've had an action scene already,
Yeah.
which was nice. And then it kind of just walks us into why they're going to be here.
Is that him?
Nope. That's the driver. I wonder if they had as much control here as they did in, or as they would have done in Hong Kong for the likes of a car chase or anything like that. You know,
So explain this to me, because obviously there's a lot about Hong Kong cinema that I am still learning, and you said to me that in Hong Kong they usually just went out and did it.
yeah, like a bit like myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would kind of gain permission, let's say, for that building on the left.
Mm-hmm.
But from that building on the left, they would spill out onto the street and they would blow shit up, and then
Yeah.
they would move into the building beside it and then go through the other end of it and come out into the next street.
Yeah.
And then if someone queried it, they would probably just say, "Well, I do have a permit." And then the people would read it and say, "Oh, but it's only for that building." And they'd be like, "Oh."
Oh, so like playing silly buggers?
Yeah, you know, see how much they can get away with.
Yeah. So this is why you're kind of
which
saying.
is kind of what we. I mean, again, this is my inspiration for movie
Yeah.
making, and that's kind of what I would do.
So basically in Hong Kong cinema, they just, if they wanted to blow something up, if they wanted to have a fight scene, if they wanted to have car chase, they just did it.
Majority of the time,
Got a very basic little permission slip and
then run.
yeah,
Although I
film it as quickly
I
as we
kind of
can and get out of
imagine,
there.
I would imagine they do clean up. A lot of them would clean up after them. I think.
Of course.
Oh, see, Alex's kicks in this are powerful. Like,
And when we start to blow stuff up in our films,
oh, I can't wait.
like, we'll clean up.
Oh well, like again, one of the things that, if anything, I've learned from Jackie, and that's something I've watched from I was a kid, is Jackie cleans up on set. That's what part of my inspiration from him as a filmmaker. Not so much what's on front or in front of the camera. It's what goes on behind and what he does behind and how many roles he has behind the camera.
Yeah.
Which includes making a sandwich or cleaning up or
Yeah.
giving somebody a drink. and I appreciated that, and that's what I've adapted. So this is Nathan Chanting Y.
Gorgeous.
To
see.
Alex is quite handsome. A bit underrated in some respect, I find. But he's in a lot. Ooh. So he's obviously finally caught up with him, and
Flip me.
Some nice kicks. So yeah, this brings me back to what I was going to say earlier, is that Stanley Tong, he got behind this. He got behind the Angel series, also the likes of Stone Age Warriors, which you've got to say that's another Elaine Lui movie with her and Fan Su Wong that go to an island with all the Komodo dragons and stuff.
Right, okay.
It's something else. I love the staff fight, it's great as well. But yeah, Stanley Tong, I mean, he had done some solid stuff in his earlier days and some incredible bits. And then...
What's this all about? Oh, they know each other?
They know each other. Yeah. Great to see you, Peter. But yeah, so, and then as he met Jackie and I think kind of developed that more Hollywood style, as Jackie's films began to change, I think whenever Jackie met Stanley Tong, then his films changed dramatically for me. But also I think Stanley Tong became much more of a Hollywood director rather than a Hong Kong director. So we're getting the best of Stanley Tong, I think, through the Angel series and all of his earlier stuff. And then we're kind of just... Everyone's been so disappointed with Stanley Tong's latest efforts. The likes of Kung Fu Yoga, Vanguard and The Myth and things like that. There too many people complain. And he relies so much on special effects. Yeah. Whereas I think...
This rawness of these films.
I think people like that should look back as to what made them.
Yeah.
And take almost take a lesson from themselves, from their younger selves, as to what and why we fell in love with them in the first place.
Yes.
I mean, I can understand the likes of Jackie's getting old and is old and getting hurt so much to the point where he shouldn't really have to be doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
But he still does what he can. But people just criticize to the point where they think he's still 20.
Yeah.
Or 30. But a director can change.
It's a problem that I suppose every director and every star faces. The older they get, the more criticism they get for the roles that they take on and the films that they start to direct and make.
I think the curse of film is it's a time capsule. We will repeatedly watch the same movies that we love.
Absolutely.
But that captures those people in that time where we think they're still like that. And
and that's why it's so important whenever you're a fan of someone to grow with that. With the likes of Steven Seagal and JCVD for me, and Wesley Snipes. I know he's not maybe the greatest action star of all time.
Yes,
but those action stars, Bruce Willis, all those action stars that I grew up with, those Hollywood action stars, I evolved with them.
Yeah.
And as much as I would revisit their older works, and those directors that worked on those films, like John McTiernan and Rennie Harlan and all those people, revisit their older works.
Yeah.
You have to evolve with them as actors, as people, and as filmmakers. Which I think a lot of people don't do. They become so obsessed with these early things that they then will be very hypercritical of whenever.
That's why I think the likes of Kung Fu Yoga or Bleeding Steel, or I know for a fact I'm going to enjoy Vanguard, but I appreciate what is going on there.
Yeah.
And I understand that Jackie just is not Dragons Forever Jackie or Project A Jackie.
Yeah.
I can see that. Whereas there's too many people quickly jumping on IMDb and all these sites rating his latest work as if it should have been 40 years ago. And
that's what I mean about evolvement.
Yeah.
They're not evolving with them.
No.
Or they're younger. And I think that we both had very critical moments in life. I mean, well, obviously we're going to be talking about Iron Angels too as it goes on.
Obviously all men.
Yeah. I think we grew up in quite critical times of film. You know, we both grew up in times when film was still very much about the love of it than trying to
Well, so it wasn't a commercial
do
thing,
something
it's like-
different.
yeah.
You know, I grew up in the 90s, you grew up in the 70s and the 80s.
Well, in the 80s, really, yeah.
You know, so I think those 2 decades in particular, I mean, stand out for a lot of
Well,
film
they were-
fans
yeah,
our age,
yeah.
you know.
And a lot of film fans,
And a lot
generally.
of film fans generally, but you do have a lot of film fans who go back to these eras, the 80s and the 90s, and say, well, it looks cheap, the colours are too harsh, the acting's bad, you know, whatever.
But it was a different...
And it's like...
totally different time.
You're now growing up in a time where they can do pretty much anything, you know. You've got James Cameron paving the way for so many different things. And
It's a
dear
cheeky
goodness,
shot.
It's a cheeky shot. And those kind of, you know, and Christopher Nolan trying so hard to kind of
But that's,
outdo himself.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
Change the game a little bit.
You look at what Christopher Nolan created with Tenet, for example, and I would quicker go back to even Iron Angels 3 before I would go to Tenet again, because it offers so much more for me.
Yeah.
And it's not even about the production value, whereas everything hangs on the production value today, is what, you know.
Yes, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's a shame for me, because people of that caliber forget where they started and what they created from nothing.
Yeah.
That's why I enjoy making £500 movies.
And it's, I mean, it's
'Cause
very much with like Nolan, as you're saying, like with Stanley Tong, you know, he went from Following and Memento to very low budget but innovative films.
Yeah.
The more money he got, he still went for innovation over, you know, story a lot of the time, but he was still creating compelling things. But now it's starting to be like he's almost trying to out Nolan himself.
Yes.
Maybe that's the same with Stanley Tong. He's become such a big director, and he feels like he has to live up to, you know, and evolve with cinema, which you should do anyway as a filmmaker. You know, it's nice to be able to evolve as a filmmaker, but he's trying to keep up with these modern directors who are doing a lot of big things, like
and
Dante Lam, probably.
Well, Dante,
Dante Lam is a more modern director.
Dante has evolved from his early stuff very well,
Yeah.
and for me, he is one of the top directors in Hong Kong right now.
Yeah,
without a doubt, and his stuff is phenomenal. You know,
his stuff really is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it blows a lot of Hollywood shit out of the water.
Yeah.
But yes, no, I think it's a special era for me is the 80s and 90s of Hong Kong cinema, because it did house the best of the best. There's not a lot today I can compare to it. Yeah. Really.
So Stanley Tong's involvement in these films, what extent did that go to? Really?
It jumped to director. From action director to director.
In what? Well, in this movie, Teresa was still credited as director, but
Stanley is, I think, assistant director, or more so comes across as the director.
In probably because there's more fight sequences.
Yeah, well, that's why there's a much more action heavy setup here. This is the third friend. Sorry, I totally missed that, but they all met with their they found out their third friend was in town. This is the Three Musketeers, as they called themselves in college. And now they're all getting together. They're a bit drunk, obviously, but as you do, you get into a bar fight.
Well, never in my life. Not like this, anyway.
Not like I would love to get into a bar fight like this.
Tell me about it.
Need to wait for my ankle to heal. But yes, this is Jackie Chan stuff. You know that we've seen in the likes of Dragons Forever, the bar fight in Dragons Forever. The likes of Police Story 2, it's gritty, it's hard hitting.
Yeah, there's a ferocity.
Although all too brief, but yes, that So other.
I feel like Jackie's, especially with Jackie Chan. Whoopsie, don't do that. I feel with Jackie Chan, and you'll probably agree with this. His early stuff is very kind of choreography heavy action.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hand-to-hand combat fights.
Yeah.
Whenever he started to move into the 80s with like Protector, Crime Story, Police Story, Project A, Armor of God.
You mean the 70s kung fu stuff?
Yes.
Of course. Yeah.
And as he then moved into the 80s with the, as I said, Protectors, or the Protector, Project A, Crime Story, Armor of God, it went more pyro work over...
It became
the
an
action
movie as opposed to a martial arts movie.
Yes, absolutely. That's what I mean to say. Yeah.
But there's some stuff from that section of Jackie's filmography that is incredible.
The action stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And
I
just
agree.
like, holy crap! You know, like I can't believe this man done that.
So Girls with Guns, I don't know if we talked about this with Iron Angels. What was really the introduction to the Girls with Guns? When did it become kind of like a real kind of genre on its own? Do you know?
I honestly, I've some films there that go back to
I can't handle people being sick. Can't handle it, and that looked all too real for me. Reminded me of last weekend.
Oh, so sorry, you're missing this quickly.
Sorry.
He's just said to Alex, I'm actually with the CIA. I'm here to keep an eye on Peter because we're a bit worried where he's going to go. So he's pretending to be drunk, the third friend.
Right, okay.
Pretending to be drunk and trying to make sense with Alex while he was throwing up. So that's letting us know as well. There's going to be a bit of,
double crossing going on.
A bit of double crossing, but also a bit of trouble between the three.
That Moon?
Yeah.
Christ almighty, she looks amazing.
Doesn't she?
Stunning woman.
Thank you. She is.
Can she speak English, Minley?
So, a little bit.
Not Anita Lui?
Elaine Lui?
Elaine.
No.
I'm thinking of Anita Lui.
Yeah.
It's so hard for me. I'm still learning, guys. Don't judge me too harshly.
I'm not too sure about Elaine, actually. Again, she's not someone I've heard or learnt so much about because... Well, there's just not a lot out there as such. Mike would know a lot more about her, definitely.
What was the kind of first introduction to Girls and Guns? When did it kind of become like?
Yeah, I would
genre?
say there was definitely a lot of girls kicking ass in the early 80s. Obviously, there's been women through kung fu and wuxia pan movies for.
Like the
60s and 70s, yeah. But when it came to modern action, definitely around 80s, 83, 84, I think there was a bit more coming out there. I'm not too sure which would have started it, or, again,
what would have popularised it.
What would have really I know Iron Angels definitely made its mark.
Yeah.
And that was sort of seen as one of the major.
When you Google it, it's the first one. Out of the kind of popularity, it's the first one that comes up is Iron Angels.
And there is a reason for that. It definitely, again, the higher production value of it made it stand out and definitely made it one of the better made Girls with Guns movies. Yeah. There has been so many Girls with Guns action flicks. So many. Yeah. I probably don't even have a quarter of what's out there.
Wow, okay.
That's the scary.
That's the scary. That's incredibly scary.
But to get through it would be incredible. And then obviously every director, they all kind of follow each other in terms of what's on offer. And you had the likes of Godfrey Ho bringing out the Lethal Panther movie, which got a Blu-ray clean up with the Vengeance pack.
Okay,
so
DVD, okay. Are they going to start?
No.
It looked like they were setting up the fire through this building.
No, they're letting your guy, Nathan Chan,
know that they're there.
They're there. So they're going to go visit him because he's obviously the big shot. He's got the money. He can pick them up, drop them off.
Yeah, okay.
So he's kind of like hosting them to his city now.
Yeah.
So he is. So it's all kind of going well for them in a sense, but
for now,
yeah. And then, as you can see, Elaine's actually brought herself down a peg or two from the first movie.
That's what I'm saying. She's downplaying it. She was very caricature in the first,
and very always in the best of fashion and all.
Yeah.
Well, we say fashion in the 80s. Some of them.
And a bit of the she was a bit more of the kind of what's the word I'm looking for? The comic relief.
Oh,
in the
she
first
was.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
She making mistakes, falling over, you know.
But she clearly impressed enough because she went on to do Stone Age Warriors with Stanley Tong.
Yeah.
And she got a bit more fun and action in that. God, do you know that was another one?
Is she a trained fighter?
No.
She's not?
No.
So they would have just trained her up for this?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's where probably the impressing came through, and then
that she was able to adapt to
that. Took her in for Red Wolf, and where she played a maniac.
Yeah, that movie was insanely
great
good.
Fun, isn't it?
A lot.
And I mean, there's a lot.
So what's he making here? Pineapples?
So he basically owns a plantation of palm trees.
Right.
Where he there's a
that they're going to demolish at the end.
Well, there's a bit of a
drugs thing going on.
Yeah, a bit of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of hidden meaning to it all, you know. And why he's so rich.
Okay.
Not just rich from the palm trees.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so yeah, there's the CIA guys popping up soon. There he is.
Yeah, he's following them and guns.
Smuggling.
Yes.
Under their fruit.
So it's a front.
It's a front. It's a
the palm trees are.
Have you ever smuggled anything under a fruit? Well, no.
Oh, that would be giving far too much away to our loyal 53 followers.
I'm sure they've heard worse.
I'm sure they have heard worse. So he's using this as a front to traffic weapons and sell weapons. So he's a weapons dealer.
Well, yeah, and it goes a wee bit deeper.
Right, okay.
So it does. Oh, you just can't hide in a good flipping open.
No, I mean, there's plenty of trees for him to hide behind, but of course that wouldn't lead to a decent, story.
But can you imagine how gorgeous this would be in Blu-ray? Like, absolutely.
I mean, these are the kind of films I've always said this. I've been dying to watch them for so long, and I've always that's it. Get your guns out. I've been dying to watch these for so long, and they are. I mean, I love male action stars, but what I love more than what a stunt!
That was tasty.
Yeah. I wonder how many times he had to do that without hitting his face
or hitting his back.
Yeah. But done very, very well. Very well indeed. Yeah. I mean, I love my male action stars, and I really, really do. But there's something about women in action that makes me excited. Not in a sexual sense, but just in the sense that it's like we are so used to seeing men kicking ass that whenever I see women just really taking apart the bad guys and being in command of the action and doing it so fluidly, there's something about that I'm like, yes, come on, like girl power. But
do you find, I mean, for me, watching a Hollywood actress do action is laughable compared to what I watch.
It's very different.
I can't take it seriously. I mean,
I think that you have grown up on these films, you know, and you are spoiled with a level of competency in terms of action choreography that supersedes that kind of Hollywood safety. Now
that's the thing. There is a lot of safety, and there's a lot of CGI when women in Hollywood are doing action.
Yes.
Whereas with this, it's real, it's gritty, it's hard.
Yeah.
And
I still think that, there are women today that are that do love a good car chase. I do think that there is a lot of Hollywood actresses who are really stepping up to the game, who are learning and are committing to their roles as action stars. The likes of ScarJo, the likes of Charlize Theron, Jessica Chastain. I know Ava maybe not so much, but with what she's actually done for the 355 and how much she committed to doing her own stunts and learning, the action choreography, and she had learnt Krav Maga for the depth. and things like that there. She was so very committed to it, and that's what makes me think, there's a lot of safety elements that go into Hollywood action, which is why I think it looks quite tame in comparison to what we see here.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't say laughable, but I would say if they can pull it off convincingly to a level where the likes of, Sarah Michelle Gellar, a perfect example of someone who is not a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
She actually got her black belt in
Did she
Taekwondo. Yeah.
Oh,
so as the show progressed, they used a lot of doubles in the beginning. She had a lot of stuff. I know an awful lot about Buffy, which is why I'm using that as an example. Yeah. But as the seasons progress, I know that Sarah took on more of the combat because she was learning Taekwondo. She was learning to kick, throw punches convincingly, and which is why in later seasons you see more of her face and her actually engaging in the action.
Yeah.
We know it can be done, but of course rules are very different in Hollywood to what they would have been.
Exactly.
From what you've told me about Hong Kong, the kicks and the punches don't stop quarter inch from the face. They just kind of go for it.
More full contact, definitely, This is very glam.
It is very glam. I feel like I'm in the middle of Showgirls here.
Yeah. The biggest show in Kuala Vegas.
Kuala Lumpur.
Kuala Vegas. Look at this. Oh, bit of nunchucks action.
Yeah.
Nunchuck dancing.
So yes, it's not until you see things like this that you kind of can appreciate that the likes of Moon, Yukari Oshima, Elaine, Cynthia Khan, all of those women Michelle Yeoh could really fight. And I think I actually read something once, and which I was kind of a bit like, was that Jackie? I don't know how true this is. That Jackie Chan said that women shouldn't be in action films, and that the only woman action star that really should work was Michelle Yeoh.
I believe there was something similar. Yes. I don't know word for word, but yes, there was something because.
And I'm like, hello.
I know.
Did he know these women?
These kind of movies here were challenging his movies in the box office.
That's what I mean. Was there an element of, like women shouldn't be action stars? That kind of misogyny.
Well, I think no, definitely not, because he's had them in his movies before Michelle, but because Michelle was such a prime part of Super Cop.
Yes.
And the stunt work that she done on her own, he saw that, he appreciated that.
Yeah.
And he has to say things like that to bump her up and to, and
yes.
Sure enough, that elevated her into Hollywood.
Yeah, it did indeed.
Ooh,
those
your
are beautiful
kind of
nipples.
Thing. They're nice nipples, actually.
Oh,
sorry. So this guy on the right,
Yuen
Tak from The Seven Little Fortunes.
Oh, of
Jackie
course,
Chan, Sammo Hung, Korean, all that kind of thing. So he is one of Jackie and Sammo's school brothers.
Right, okay.
And an amazing choreographer in his own right.
Mm-hmm.
An actor. He's been in this. He's been in Dragon from Russia. He's been in... literally, the list is endless. Now, not as hugely successful as Jackie and Sammo and Yuen and all that kind of thing. And kind of not forgotten about. There's others that have literally been forgotten about from the Seven Little Fortunes, but he does a great job. Usually when he's behind the action,
were they called the Seven Little Fortunes because they worked for Fortune Star?
No. They were called Seven Little Fortunes when they were kids as performers.
Ah, right, okay.
So
interesting.
If you go on to Netflix, and there's a movie called Painted Faces with Sammo Hung playing their teacher. And you have all these young kids playing, and funny enough, the kid that plays Jackie just looks just like Jackie. But that will give you, and even Sammo and Jackie apparently said that they're not even showing 50% of how they were actually treated at the school, but it's quite a brutal movie.
Ooh, okay,
in terms of today, the teacher would probably be arrested for child abuse.
Wow.
But it's worth watching.
Did girls go to that school?
Yeah.
Okay, right, okay.
Yeah.
So whenever he made that statement, he was very aware that women could do it. It was just a challenge of the box office.
Really, what did you think of Michelle? A question that was probably put to him from a reporter. What did you think of Michelle? And that was him. You know. blowing smoke over.
Blowing smoke
I
up
mean,
her
but
arse
she
to
wasn't.
progress her.
Yeah.
Whereas he probably was watching Moon
But
and Yukari and being like, God, they're amazing. But
they first starred
Michelle's
together in an advert for a watch commercial.
Right, okay.
Way back before they done action together. And they played like a romantic couple in a watch commercial.
Oh.
It's available on YouTube and other places. But yeah, so they'd already had that moment, and she was. The thing with Michelle is any action movie that she had starred in up to Super Cop was, for the most part, very high budgeted. With respect.
I mean, whenever you look at things like Wing Chun, Magnificent Warriors,
Police Assassins, Royal Warriors, and all that. I mean, but they have
some budget.
Movies. Yeah, they're very polished movies. Whereas a lot of the other female action movies were more lower budget action movies, although incredible, but still lower budget. So, Elaine and I'll call him Nathan Chan. Are romantically getting a bit of a romance going on here.
Okay.
So they are. But yeah, it's quite... her character, for me, in this is more Moon Lee than from part one than it was Elaine in part one, you know? So we've kind of got both her and Moon playing a similar kind of character.
Can I just make like a very brief point? Asian people have amazing hair.
Oh yeah?
Like, I'm so jealous. Their hair is so thick and full and lovely and flowy.
Apart from the wee old bald men.
Well, I know, but I mean, looking at Nathan and Elaine here, I mean, look how lovely their hair is. They have been using Head and Shoulders, knees and toes.
Say, yeah, there's quite a bit there.
It's just gorgeous. Beautiful location. I mean, it's nice that they've moved out of the city and into kind of a much more kind of
as I say,
exotic setting.
In all three, they do that. They shake it up a bit. So this is definitely the more exotic of them. Thailand 1 takes place in and amongst the city and kind of actually the suburbs. The city and the suburbs, would differ. But I'm trying to think where this is again. This is New York, is it?
It
kind of looks a bit like New York.
San Francisco?
Is it?
No, couldn't be.
Hang on.
Didn't come up there where that was.
No. I think we're supposed to know from the skyline.
Yeah.
I say I don't even remember this scene from the video, but then it's probably been 10 years or 15 years since I've watched.
Oh, they're speaking in English here?
Yeah.
Okay, right, got you.
I have total confidence.
Do you want to talk to him now?
Oh yeah. See these voices even that they're dubbed in?
Yeah.
I recognise those voices from the
Other
dubs
dubs.
from videotapes that. So they clearly had a bunch of people in Hong Kong dubbing that did all the work.
Well, tell me this. Sometimes whenever I watch Hong Kong films, I'm never entirely sure if it's the actors talking.
A lot of the time.
Because I know that
it's not.
They would have notoriously dubbed because they would have filmed in Canto in Hong Kong, right?
No, they actually would have filmed with no sound.
But they would have been. They would have had to read their lines in the thing, right?
Oh, they would have been. They
would have been talking Cantonese.
Acting and speaking, yes, but the up until I think Super Cup, around that period, that was probably the first Hong Kong movie shot in Sing Sound.
Wow. Okay.
So everything else was dubbed
after
flat
the
out.
fact.
Yeah.
And do we know did the original actors dub their own voices, or did they get?
No, definitely not all of them. There's certain ones that have that that it's like the likes of Eric Chang and stuff like that. You know their voice, so you know that it's them doing it. But for the most part, no.
Well, that's the thing, like with Moon and things like that there, you know, whenever you hear Michelle speaking in English, she sounds very different to what her Cantonese voice or Mandarin voice would sound like. And then I'm like, is that her actual voice in Cantonese? Because it sounds extremely different to how she would speak in English. And that's why I'm like, is it Moon Lee's voice? Is it Elaine
if Elaine Lui
You know, is that how they talk? Have they dubbed their own voices? And I find it very interesting. And it's not just Hong Kong films. I found out recently as a fan, and I'm always learning about things that I'm a fan of, that even within the James Bond films, a lot of the female actresses were dubbed. Even Jane Seymour, who speaks
really?
English in Live and Let Die, was dubbed by another actress.
Interesting.
And they usually use the same dub actress in the first couple of films to dub over her Ursula Andress, Daniela Bianchi, and all those actresses that came in the, in Dr. No from Russia with Love and Thunderball. Claudine Auger, who was in Thunderball, dubbed.
They were all dubbed?
They were all dubbed, and they could speak English, so they were taught their lines in English.
Interesting.
But they were all dubbed over because Ursula Andress had a very strong German accent, so they wanted to soften it.
Of course.
Interesting. And that's why I wonder, do they do that with these, actresses?
Well, that's why
actors?
Because you've often said how you notice their lips aren't matching what they're saying, but that's why they are still speaking Cantonese.
Yeah.
But the dubbing just hasn't been laced up properly.
Right.
That's why. So, sorry, Alex has broken in here to Nathan's office and is finding a few little hidden secrets here, such as the secret door, and read on his computer a few notes as to what he's up to.
Okay. Were they on to him from the start? Is that why they were sent to Kuala Lumpur? Because they were sent to investigate him?
I'm gonna say no. I think this was supposed to be a holiday. Again, I should have been watching, but I couldn't remember.
I think they did say, 'cause she said I'd rather go to Disneyland than Kuala Lumpur.
So they are on a break. So it's possibly right after Iron Angels 1. Although David Chang is missing, so he's obviously sent them on the holiday. And then the Japanese guy from the first one, whose name has left me, Hideki. Do you remember the Japanese guy caught in the armour truck?
Yeah.
And he's obviously not there either. So it seems to me, and you'll find also with part 3, there's a few new angels join.
Okay.
It's kind of like they have international angels who join the team wherever and whenever they go somewhere. But because they met the third friend, Alex met the third friend, and he said to him he was with the CIA and they're investigating, and now he's been captured and taken hostage. I think that's kind of spurred Alex into finding out a wee bit more. And then obviously she's had her date with him, so they're going to break the bad news, and she doesn't want to hear that,
Does she take it badly?
Well, you see. Well, it's kind of, I suppose it's not the kind of thing you want to hear, is it? Whenever you've just been out on a great date and you're in love with somebody.
No, I'd rather no thanks.
Yeah. I know, but what I mean is when you are told after such a great time, you're going to be like, oh, fuck. What a position.
What a position to be put in.
Yeah. So yes, he's planning a revolution. He's basically like a wannabe Hitler kind of character.
Right, okay. It's so...
I don't believe
you're lying. It's nice to see as an action film fan, as a especially women in action fan, the evolution of how women can now, especially in film, stand very much on their own without those male counterparts. Watching this, it's interesting because they are marketed as girls for guns films. Yeah. But they have quite a lot of male counterparts.
There's still quite a strong male presence, right?
Absolutely. And it's nice to see that even from the 80s, where this was probably quite progressive, where they had women fighting and doing their own stunts and jumping away from bombs and everything like that there. It's quite nice to see a natural progression towards women just being on their own, and you started to see that in the 80s and into the 90s with the likes of La Femme Nikita and Buffy,
well,
and
that's
then as things
again,
have moved on.
La Femme Nikita was inspired by this kind of stuff. Yeah. By Hong Kong cinema.
I'm not surprised. Even, did you ever watch the TV show, the La Femme Nikita TV show? No, not the one with Maggie Q. Well, Maggie Q obviously did her version. Yes,
that's right.
But there was one with Peter Wilson. Yeah. Fantastic. And again, had Nikita very much as this very capable. So wow.
Elaine's just took a lift.
She has indeed. had Nikita as very much this individual agent who was more than capable of doing very much capable of doing things on their own.
Yeah.
And here we're saying, obviously, Elaine is
she's hanging on the edge
she's
of it.
literally obviously attached to this thing. Well,
but then that
no, she's not. She's just
she's
sitting
just
there.
hanging there. Yeah. But so then that takes you to Hollywood. Are they just? I mean, for the likes of Rush Hour, for example, for Jackie to do that run up a tree to get in through somebody's window.
Oh yeah.
They didn't really want him doing it because it was too dangerous. Do you know what I mean? They had mats down.
Had they never seen anything he'd done before?
Exactly. Do you know? So there is obviously a fear with Hollywood. It's a nation that likes to sue each other.
Yeah.
Over whatever, like the amount of stupid things they will sue each other over. So yes, if there was an accident to Asia's biggest star or any Hollywood star, there would be a lot of payout.
Yeah. Is this Elaine going to?
This is Elaine going to see where he is,
okay.
Or what he's up to. Sorry, but yeah. So Hollywood clearly are too careful.
Yes.
And I think that's where these movies for me
Jump
become more real. Like there's.
They stand out more.
Definitely.
As more authentic.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, so she's obviously just checking in on her boyfriend to see if he's actually the
criminal that they're all saying that he is.
And he is. I'm just trying to remember, does he kind of play nice to his old friend here, or... Can't remember. Oh. Dun, dun, dun. One thing I always loved about Hong Kong movies as well, and action movies, was everyone was always, wasn't so much CIA, it was Interpol.
Yeah.
I loved
Interpol
that.
agents, yeah.
It's like, Interpol, and they would always hold their badge up.
Yeah.
Interpol! Yeah, I kind of want to put that into some of my movies.
Yeah, is this...
Well, there's
my answer.
There's your bestie gone. Oh.
That's the CIA guy, right?
Yeah.
The Interpol agent? Okay. Christ. That was
CIA,
ruthless.
the CIA.
Oh, you can see the bag, actually.
Yeah. The CIA train their agents to scream.
Shit, you idiot.
To scream in slow motion. Get him.
Oh, get him.
Imagine you heard a guy screaming like that.
That's it.
Oh,
come on, Elaine.
yes.
Fucking kick some ass.
Yep. Go on, girl. Go on, girl.
That's
it. Because, again, in part one, she didn't get much fighting.
Didn't. She really didn't. So this is really actually quite nice. That's why I'm being so quiet here, just watching her kind of move.
This is Yun Tak.
Yeah.
Who would have probably also been a part of the choreography, I would imagine, with Stanley Tong in this. I wouldn't imagine him just turning up and set for a wee acting role.
So out of curiosity, I mean, we were saying that Liam would have been trained for this, and from what they did with her in the first Dark Angels movie, they've seen the potential that she had, the ability to move. Moon was a dancer. Are there any female kind of action stars that were martial artists?
Oh yeah,
I know Cynthia Rothrock was a martial artist, but was Michelle Yeoh?
No, she was a dancer also.
She was also a dancer. What about Cynthia Khan?
Dancer.
Yukari Oshima.
Fighter.
So she was.
So she was trained.
Fighter.
She was trained as a martial artist and actress. So yes, but also Young Pan Pan, who for me is one of the most underrated. Like, she's never remembered. Sharon Young Pan Pan. Now still working as a producer mainly of independent productions, but she is the main star of Angel Terminators, which we will get to.
Oh, great. Yeah, excellent.
And also Angel Enforcers from Godfrey Hero, which I love. Again, a very underrated movie. But she would have starred as a Kung Fu queen. So she would have been throughout the 70s.
So the likes of Cheng Pei Pei and stuff were actually trained martial artists.
The likes of Cheng Pei Pei, I believe, would have went to one of the Peking opera schools, much like Jackie and Sammo and all that.
Right, okay.
I'm not too sure about Young Pan Pan where she began, but she did come through the Kung Fu era
Yeah.
as a Kung Fu starlet.
Yeah.
And then she adapted brilliantly into modern action. Like she makes it look fucking epic. Like she dresses so cool.
Okay, I'm very excited to watch
She's got
her
the
stuff.
the fingerless gloves on, the leather gloves, and she kicks ass. So yes, she is brilliant. I do love Young Pan and in her modern.
Be very exciting to see her stuff.
Yeah.
Because
She would have been. She also would have been one of the older ones. The same with Cara Hoy.
Of course, Cara
from
Hoy,
Shaw Brothers, who she...
And was she a trained martial artist as well? Or?
Yeah, she would have been an actress, martial artist. Yeah,
right, okay, wow.
Yeah. So they are there.
So there were... They did use a lot of actually trained martial arts actresses, but would have very frequently gone for pretty girls who were dancers that they could
who could move.
Yeah.
Flexibility, they can move. And that's where the majority of these modern action starlets came from. So, but there is still quite a few of them, and do you know what? A lot of them as well are in the background. So there's female fighters you'll often see in the background, who were trained fighters, but just were extras. In the background.
You're right about the emphasis being much more on Elaine's character in this one. Moon's very much. They've kind of done a role reversal here.
Yeah, so she had her moment in part 1, and then Alex kind of carries the most of part 3. Although Moon gets quite a heavy amount of action in part 3.
Okay.
But Alex, for me, it was Alex's story.
Yeah, okay.
So in a way,
they're kind of taking each angel and kind of giving them their moments to kind of.
Katrina.
Oh, so this is her. Oh, wow. Okay, sexy. No, I don't mean that sarcastically.
And she also no, she
stunning.
is very much so, and she also pops up in part 3, I believe, as well.
Right. Okay. So is she? Sorry. Pardon me while I just adjust. No, just get myself comfortable.
I shall adjust.
Is she just an actress, or is she a fighter?
No, just an actress.
She's just an actress, so she doesn't get any action scenes.
Oh no, there will. Yeah.
Oh, she
does.
More
gunplay, I believe.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So she's right. Okay, interesting. So she's the transsexual.
Yes, and she's like their agent from there. Their angel
from Kuala Lumpur.
Yes.
Okay, right. Okay.
Who has her own
Gotcha.
I was wondering what that was.
So did I. Was that a comment?
Looked like it, didn't it?
What way is this movie going?
Well, again, if we got this in Blu-ray, how much more would we be seeing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, this is coming up to one of the most...
So is this now the jungle battle?
I just need to check the running time on it and see... okay, so we're 40 odd minutes left, and then, things are really about to kick off.
So this is the moments that I know. Seeing her in the hat and the gloves and the get-up. This is what I've seen in clips.
Yes.
This is mostly what I would see would be this moment where she's like jumping through the jungle, shooting the guns, fighting. This is the moments of Min Lee that I would know from what I've seen. So it's interesting to see how she gets here to this moment.
Gorgeous place though, isn't it?
Oh,
Them
beautiful.
trees look about a mile high.
They probably are about a mile high.
There's their lunch.
Whatever was in was crushed.
Yeah.
On landing.
Goodbye. Yes, I am a fan of Alex Fong. He's been in a number of movies that I have enjoyed quite a bit of. But he's I think he's he's a Marmite guy for a lot of fans.
So like him or loathe him.
Yeah. And there's no reason really to loathe him. He does a great job, he just gets in there, does it. He's not the greatest actor, but he still performs well. And he's a good fighter.
No, Mars.
Oh no, they're doing it old school where they just hit the branches.
Oh well, here we go.
Is that not what you do? No, would you not?
Frequently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
I'm in a rush to get out of the house, I just jump out the window and
take your
scale
chop.
down the tree. Yeah, well, every day.
they're doing what I always wished I could have done. You know, this is the kind of...
Do you know, whenever I was maybe 10, I could have done
yeah,
that.
when I was a kid, I would always imagine.
Whenever I
these
had no fear.
things. Yeah.
I was jumping off roofs whenever I was 10. Do you know what
Was
I mean?
literally.
Whereas now, yeah, no, I mean literally, I was jumping off roofs and
Yeah.
climbing trees right to the top and stuff like that.
But now you know the
nah.
consequences,
Yeah.
and you're like, nah, I'm not trying that.
But you know, a part of me wishes, you know, obviously from going to acting school, you know, whenever I went to the drama academy and did acting, a part of me wishes, you know, now looking back in retrospect, it's an amazing thing, is that, you know, I love action films so much, and I had a lot of dexterity and a lot of, like, and I was a swimmer, as you know, and, you know, I had a lot of flexibility and dexterity about myself back then, and I wish that I had have kept up the acting and not been destroyed by people who wanted to bring me down and allowed my confidence to remain high, because this is the kind of thing that I would have loved to have done if I didn't want to go onto a movie set and do crying and all that. What I wanted to do was
go.
like, you know, like,
why I didn't go to Hong Kong when I was 16 or 18 is beyond me. I think it's this country. I think I've said this before, there's a thing about the people here, and they're wonderful people.
Yeah.
But when they know that you've got a dream or you're going up somewhere, they will shoot you down.
They want to bring you,
Whereas when I go to America and
two little people
talk about my movies,
the same thing.
they will praise me. I will be like a keen for the weekend. When I come home, it's like, no, you can't do that. And that's
almost
just
a
the
suppression.
nation. It is,
because
and
there's too many people fighting for the same thing here,
of course
because there's so little of us.
Of course there is, but also it's just how the generations have brought up. We've always been a dark country. There's always been a cloud over us, and I think that has affected the people, and they're afraid to dream.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they are. Whereas whenever you get people like yourselves that want to do it, that want to get out there.
Oh, that was a real snake too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Flip. No, but I mean, I you know, and you know,
because
Dad will tell me, you know, I went and did so much, not only just going to drama academy and being a swimmer. I went to jiu-jitsu and things as a kid, and I just allowed people in this country and growing up, because I was obviously different and things like that there, and because I had such high ambitions, I allowed then myself to be brought down by those people. And it makes me nostalgic seeing things like this, them abseiling, jumping out of the tree. It reminds me of being a kid, and how if I hadn't have let that happen, where I could be today.
Well, this is why
maybe not as an actor, I may not be an actor, but I may be able to.
That's why when I turned 30, I said, right, enough's enough, I'm going to start making movies. So I can go back to this thing, and everything I kind of wanted to do, I can now create myself.
Yes.
And that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so yeah, we'll get there.
And it does, I mean, seeing things like this just makes you kind of...
Hard to swallow?
Yeah, that would have been, wouldn't it?
I would not have.
Makes you think like, I would have.
No.
See, this is the thing. I am quite, when it comes to doing things, I would be fearless. See if you were to turn around to me and say, Mark, like whatever actor, this guy won't do this. Will you like scale down this building? I'll be like, I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
You might need to shrink me to fit the size of that person that's acting for you. But I will abseil down that building for you, no problem. And it's films like this, whenever you see this kind of thing happening, you kind of think, you just want to capture the realism of what's going on. And as you say, in a lot of Hollywood films, there isn't so much. It's almost too hyper real.
It's too polished.
Or too polished. Yeah. Whereas this is got that kind of
this is
grittiness and that ferocity
and that intensity. How I make my movies. This is what has inspired me to make these movies.
Did you get a lot of your... I actually had a dream the other night. We were making a movie and you had me cable tied to a car with camera. It was very weird.
That was actually true, but you wouldn't wake up.
But yeah.
I have done that to Vivian, our friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, like, I was on the roof of this car cable tied with a camera while you were like directing from the driving seat, and I'm like, and we were in the cars doing our own stunts.
I actually
and stuff.
did.
It was very interesting.
I did film a scene once with 3 people in the back seat and 2 in the front, and I was clinging onto the front of the bonnet.
The bonnet.
With my fingers just under the grill, filming through the windscreen while they're doing about 40 mile an hour down this
Nice,
country
love it.
road. Terrifying because I had nothing holding me there but my fingers. Scary, but it was a lot of fun.
So what are we?
So this is
Where are
the
we getting
angels'
into?
attack on the angels' attack on the plant. Obviously, they've got to save now. They've got to save Elaine.
Has she been captured?
She's
Lynn
been
is that
captured,
part?
yeah.
Apologies.
But
Oh yes,
also-
they all surrounded her. I did see that. My
Yeah.
apologies. Yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't think they know that their CIA friend is dead.
Right. Okay. Wow. That's a big ladder.
That's huge.
Dear God in heaven.
Oh, there she is. God, could you imagine trying to get your prisoner up that tree?
Do you know what? I'd just be like, I can't be arsed. Come on, just throw them in the ground.
There's an elevator around the back of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Up there. I love Moonlee in this. See this whole last section.
Yeah.
She looks amazing.
Yeah.
Her whole get up and her fight is just amazing.
Yeah.
Oh. But again, Alex looks great too.
He does. He looks fab. So they call her Karen in this
Karen.
rather than Karina.
Mm-hmm. Karina. Oh,
Nice.
I get
Happy to.
because she hasn't got much to move.
No, she hasn't.
Much
She's
time
not-
to move in
no,
this.
no.
Look at these. This is cool. Oh, so old school.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, again, for me, this is kind of like the camp takedown in Eastern Condors. When Samo
Oh, I love
gets
that
into
movie.
that cast, fucking phenomenal movie. But when Samo enters the camp and gets all his men in,
Mhm.
you know. And I think, in regards to that, it just offers as much incredible action.
Mm-hmm. Whoa.
But there,
Whoa.
okay, so he was on wire,
Yeah,
but they sped it up and a bit too much. They overcranked it a wee bit.
the dead overcrank that. Here's my. Oh, this is.
Here we go.
Flames, bombs. Yes.
And
Yes.
again, it's not CGI.
No.
You know,
That's what I hate films that do CGI explosions.
well, I have to because I can't afford to.
Well, do you know what? We're just gonna start blowing shit up, George. Fuck what the council say. I don't care. I love this.
It is.
I should have become like a pyro expert. You know,
There's still
learned how to
time.
blow stuff up.
There is still time.
Controlled explosions. Look at her, badass.
She looks great. She's
looks
coming
fab,
through.
yeah.
There's no stopping her. Like,
Here we go.
oh,
Nice.
but
Oh, I love it.
yeah, this is all like you're bound to felt the heat
Oh God, 100%.
from this stuff. And again, that's real gunfire because you can't hide squibs in the tree.
No.
Hot stuff.
Mm-hmm. This looks like it's been sped up a wee bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The way they're running.
It's a big problem of a lot of Hong Kong movies is the cranking. Oof. Woo. Sure.
Go, men.
Love this.
What
Look
a
at the
shot.
height of that, like. Oh, fuck.
Wow.
Hello. I brought you a change of underwear.
I know.
Here's your moisturizer.
Oh, this is she swings down and starts.
Yeah.
Yeah, love this. I've seen this moment.
Permanent stuck.
Like, yes, come on, girl.
But it's almost like from the first movie, Elaine has somewhat matured.
I was just about to use that exact word. There's
Yeah.
a maturity there, isn't there? Nice.
It's like a big Rambo moment, you know, like Rambo 3,
Oh, no, fuck.
isn't it?
Love the Rambo movies.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
This is cray. Crazy.
You and Tex like, fuck it.
I wonder how many times Min has nearly been burnt before she was actually burnt.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah,
I mean, that's inches.
yeah. Is she on a wire or is she just jumping
She will
on?
be.
Yeah.
She will be. But again, it's
But
you
she's
know,
doing it herself.
this is a wire that has broken on actors that
Mm-hmm.
has killed.
Oh, this is the fight scene I love.
Sweet Jesus. Yeah, I love this fight scene. Definitely, for me, a highlight of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's got the shooting face on.
Wow.
Beautiful. And again, she doesn't look very like Michelle Yeoh there from Super Cop when they go to the drug camp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they have this big shootout. You know, it's quite similar.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's.
Do you know what else I'm noticing as well from these action films is that there's a naturalism to the reactions. Do you know the way in like Hollywood movies they're like
yeah,
and their faces are like they're just like and their faces moving naturally, and it's just like we've got to get the job done. Let's not overdo it.
There's more realism in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But sorry, what I was going to say was there's with Elaine there doing her thing and looking like. Just like Michelle did in Super Cop at the Shy Bats shootout at the camp. You know, there's no difference really. And what makes Michelle kind of better or get more appreciation, I think she has such an on-screen presence. You know, when Michelle comes on the screen, you watch. Elaine is great, but I think if that was Michelle, I would have just upped it a wee bit more, you know.
Excuse me.
But again, for me, Moon is the queen, I think.
Moon is the queen. Moon's amazing.
I'm
falling in love with her just every time I see more of her.
I just think there's something a bit more special and a bit more powerful about her, you know.
It's a shame that she has such few credits to her name.
Well,
it's such great credits.
Great credits, but
in comparison to a lot of Hong Kong stars,
quite a bit.
She's dying, you know.
She did retire too soon, I think.
Yeah.
I love this fight scene.
This is one of my favorite moments.
But if you watch her, like her punches and kicks she puts such power into them.
She really does. You can see that in her face and everything, you know.
Yeah.
You can see the tension in her body as well as she's really, as you say, putting a lot of power into that.
Gorgeous kick.
Yeah, beautiful kick. Would she have been on a wire for that, or would that have been it? Okay.
Would have been.
Sometimes I just don't know with these guys because they can move just so well.
Well, again,
I'm never sure.
They don't always use wire just to pull off a move that's unnatural. They use wires to enhance. So like even with somebody falling, what they'll have is a wire on their shoe and pull them, so they get the impact quicker.
Okay. Gotcha.
Just in case their body doesn't fall with if she doesn't hit someone as hard, they're not going to fall as hard. So that aids them. That also helps.
That adds to almost the impact.
Yeah. Her fucking kicks are great.
Her kicks are unbelievable. Oh. And that's the other thing is that Asian action films and Asian action stars, they it's not like they get missed in Hollywood movies. They always seem to come out kind of unscathed in these films. Yeah. She's being kicked, she's being battered, she's coming out with bruises and cuts and everything. You know, that's a nice move. Nice stunt. Oh, whoa.
Do you see? Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Love it. A wee bit of swordplay brought into it.
Lovely extended fight sequence. It's not like it's quick. This is quite long.
The end battle of part 1 was over too quick for me, definitely. This is this is nice.
I mean, she's inches from death here. I mean, really, she's been cut twice there. Do you know what I mean? So it's like nice.
You got the point.
Not yet. Wow. One of those squibs is very close to his gonads there, wasn't it?
Squiddly squibs.
Are you okay? Yes, as I just have like 2 gashes to my face and 2 to my arm. How he's not dead, I don't know.
This is the joy. Excuse me, the joy of film. So that's the whole ammunition hut.
Yeah, gone.
But holy shit, what an explosion.
I know.
You could probably see that in the Philippines.
Probably could have seen it in the Philippines. I'm sure the people, if there was anybody nearby, was like, what the fuck has just
what
happened?
has God.
So the action's not over?
Yep.
Wow, I'm
Still-
so excited.
Still got a showdown with Nathan, or Peter, as they call him in this.
No way! God. That's why Elaine didn't come
I
back
was
for
gonna
3.
say,
She
she's-
got too damaged.
I hate bear traps. I've never had to jump into one. But
no.
when I was a kid and you see this kind of thing, and then you go and play in the forest.
It made you
It's-
totally paranoid. Yeah, I
it's-
agree.
It's like Jaws in the water.
Oh.
Bear traps in the
I still
forest.
can't go into the water. Yes, bear traps. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was totally paranoid.
Very Eastern Condors moment. Even the sounds, gosh. Do you know, again, this is something I'd like to do with our ranking video is, you know, what's the top 10 jungle fights of Hong Kong
Oh,
movies?
that would be great.
The top 10 warehouse fights of Hong Kong movies. You know, those kind of things would be fun.
Well, I've got a lot of watching to do.
Yeah, this is the,
So I do.
we've really got to know.
A lot of watching today.
Yeah, it's hard to fit it into such a small number when you consider the amount of material. Like,
Yeah, there's an awful lot there.
it's not even a flipping tenth of what's out there. Not even 100th of what's out there, to be honest.
Terrifying.
It is, isn't it? Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Yeah, there's quite a comparison with this end battle to Eastern Condors.
But it also shows how they upped it from the first one, as you say. You weren't lying when you said like this is much more of an action film
Yeah,
than a
Yeah,
thriller.
I think so.
It's still brutal, but it doesn't have that kind of thriller brittleness that the first one had,
Yes.
especially that
It went from,
takedown
it
with
goes
the
from
swords.
thriller to action, and then the third is more of a, well, still an action movie, a martial arts movie, but more martial arts. There's more martial arts, I think, in terms of what's actually going on. You've kickboxing fights in the ring. You've got Moon Lee taking on gangs of people, and a female dictator this time.
Wow, okay. I've always loved to see a good female villain
I
as
think
well.
she's Swedish or something like that. So, you know, it's quite different to everything else. And jetpacks and everything that they're flying about.
There's a distinguishable quality you can already see between the first and second
Yes.
one from watching these.
Yeah.
Colour,
Mm-hmm.
palette, environment,
Even how it's shot.
how it's
and
shot.
everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Very much so. Which is a nice thing. Do we want to see the same thing every single time? Absolutely not. If
No,
it works, we would love to.
But that's why it's a
But
great
then
trilogy.
it becomes repetitive.
Yeah, it's a great trilogy because it shakes it up.
Yeah.
And then, again, obviously, we've got two best friends here facing off now.
Spelled joins wrong.
Yeah. Again, I mean, just getting this in Blu-ray would, I mean, really cleaned up and treated in a 4K or 2K scan would just be incredible.
And just sync that dialogue a little bit.
Yeah,
better.
just fix it a wee bit. This is definitely not the best version. I think the video is definitely better quality, but because it's only the English dub, it's unfortunate.
Die or fight me.
Die or fight me.
If only everyone was given that option. Die or fight me. Well,
You're shopping
do you
in
know
the
what?
wrong
Just
places.
I know I left Sainsbury's after the bard night.
So, this guy then, Nathan Chan Wai Ting, I can't, I've lost it all of a sudden. Nathan Chan. He was also in the first movie, but as a completely different character and a smaller
Right. Okay.
part.
Would that have been a frequent thing?
Oh, yeah. And a lot of the time as well, you'd find, especially with Jackie's stunt team, that they will play numerous characters throughout. They'll just stick on a hat or a mustache or a pair of glasses or a new jumper or a beard.
Yeah.
And that's why I do it with a lot of my people.
Yeah.
There's quite a few actors in my movies, especially the bigger cast ones.
Yeah.
That they'll play numerous characters. So the likes of the Knackery, it's a great fight. The likes of the Knackery, a lot of the fighters in it are actually the zombies chasing the other fighters who are, you know.
Whoa!
That was sore.
Hurt me. Felt that on the chest.
That was, yeah, I mean, again, there's no holding back from somebody flying at you with a double kick.
No.
Brutal.
And it's funny, I mean, I didn't grow up on these films, but I did grow up in a lot of Jackie movies because my dad liked Jackie and Jean-Claude. And I remember throwing myself from one end of the living room to the other. I used to throw myself down the stairs.
Every time I watched a movie of a Hong Kong movie, me and my brother would start fighting.
Yeah.
And we would be doing stunts. And,
Mum and even my sister used to say to me, she was like, you know, I would have like been hanging off the banister, you know, and just letting go and grabbing the next rung on the banister. Yeah. And they were like, my mum was like, I don't know how you didn't end up with more broken bones. Now, whenever I jumped off the roof, I broke my leg twice.
Oh, shit.
No, not every time. I jumped off that roof a lot of times, but
oh, he's done.
it was, as a child, you did try and emulate a lot of stunt work that
Of
you
course
seen,
you
and it's
did.
so like, it's like, don't try this at home. When you're a kid, you don't do it. But it's.
No, I definitely did.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I was thinking back on it now. I did all kinds of crazy shit, and it makes me appreciate these films.
Well, I
watching them now as an adult,
Yeah.
with a clearer mind, with a better understanding of what's really going on and how they were really made, rather than just seeing them as entertainment.
Yeah.
It gives me a greater understanding of what these people must have had to go through physically, the demands on their physical selves.
Of course, yeah.
You know, a lot of films, yes, there's a mental toll that it takes on you, especially if you're getting into deep drama.
Yeah.
But these particular films, you know, there's a real physical, you know, like.
No, for me, these are incredibly
and they're never
dedicated actors.
Yeah.
Well, they're never out of breath. Yeah, but they, you know, there's a lot going on. A lot going on.
Certainly is.
And I know from making movies and action scenes and stuff, yes, there's a cut.
Yeah.
But you also got to do these cuts a few times. You've got to get, you know, you need a certain energy to get into this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. So he thinks he's going to shoot him, you see?
Go on away.
Oh, well, he was asking Alex to kill him, so he got his wish, unfortunately, from his girlfriend. Actually, quite a wee emotional moment from her, you know. Diddle-a-doo. Oh. Well,
It's amazing how he's like one gunshot to take him down. He's just had his head pummeled into the
Yeah.
box 18 times.
oh. No. Yeah.
Don't be
It's
remorseful.
her.
of
This is her story. This is her. Her chapter.
Yeah.
I should say.
Yes, it's a good way of putting it.
Oh, split screen.
Got a lovely bit of split screen, like.
Well. Yeah. And Moon's not there. Isn't that very weird?
Wow, that went by in the blink of an eye.
Didn't it? So yeah, although I would consider all three of these to be Moon Lee movies, they're not.
No.
Theoretically, the first one would be more Moon, as we've said. This one was Elaine's chapter, and Alex a bit more.
Love that shot there of Karina, I must say, coming through
coming through
the jungle.
So there you go.
That shot as
Another
well.
one
Needed.
down.
Shitting on the
Elaine.
wire. Elaine, fucking hell, I need to get this right. Elaine shitting on the wire is a great shot as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
no,
learning,
it's a
kids,
good,
I'm learning.
a good movie. And again, I think, honestly, I said it 100 times, but seeing all three of them cleaned up and given the respect
that they deserve
would make it such a different film altogether.
Yeah.
And I know that from the work Idiot has done on movies there that I've only just seen in a 4:3 cropped video version.
Yeah.
I know it would be worth watching. So there we are. Thank you very much, guys. Hope you have the chance to get your hands on this version of Angels 2, which is an hour and 33 minutes long and a half. But yeah, we enjoyed it. I always enjoy it.
Thoroughly loved it.
I
have to say that was a much more enjoyable action film than the first one. The first one had a lot of story, and I felt like it was concentrating much more on the first one.
Yeah.
This one was a little bit easier to follow because the story was a little bit more simpler.
Yeah.
And
with part 3, you can switch your brain off, kind of thing.
Well, that's good.
So there we go. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, guys, and hopefully the next one we do will be Angels 3.
Yes, it will be.
We'll do Angels 3. Okay. And we'll do Outlaw Brothers as well for the person that asked.
Yes, we will get to it.
Maybe after Angels 3. But
there's so much.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you, George, once again for
problem.
letting me watch them finally. And
yeah,
join us again next time. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Cheer pie.
Bye.
Cheer pie.
Is the movie not over? Yeah.
This is a trailer.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.